Do you love to play Magic Online but have a tight budget? Check out Mtgo Academy's Academy Budget Bot in the Magic Online Classifieds. All cards in stock are cheaper than one event ticket.
Alright, welcome to the finals. On the draw against 6, and double Aquarius form, not the greatest, but with a Wavecrash Triton I'm happy to keep it. Also 2 forests for the first time ever. And let's see what happens here. Playing against 6 on the play is a lot less scary than 7. There's still the potential for this to become 5. Now, I'm fine with just casting Wavecrash Triton. Maybe even using the Voyage's End quite aggressively, because I'm already up a card and might need the tempo against the right red. Arrest costs some guide, so this looks like I might just want to see what happens here, and I could actually see myself casting Voyage's End just to gain some tempo on my opponent. With this hand, I'm not going to cast Voyage's End anytime soon. I want to really put all kinds of cards on Triton Fortune Hunter. And I want to keep my opponent on the back foot if possible. Now, casting the Wavecrash Triton first seems better to me, because then I can cast Triton Fortune Hunter and immediately draw a card with Aquarius form, which is also why I wanted to keep the island. If I play the Fortune Hunter here, it might get killed by Majed or just a random card, and I really don't want that to happen. The real question, though, is if I want to block the Sun Guide with Wavecrash Triton. I think I do because I have the Triton Fortune Hunter. And if my opponent wants to use a spell here, that's fine. Alright, Ultraviolet Cyclops is solid. So now it's time to make a decision. What I can do here is cast Triton Fortune Hunter and use Aquarius form on Wavecrash Triton, tapping down Ill-Tempered Cyclops, which lets me scry, and I have the Triton Fortune Hunter in play already. It's still weak against the removal spell on the Fortune Hunter, but I would have to wait one more turn before I can hold up a card like Savage Surge or Crypsis. I think I'm going to do that just to get scrying, and not too keen on blocking this turn anyway. I would rather just get some more information. Hermetos Acolyte is interesting. It blocks anything my opponent has. It's not an amazing card, but it could be solid. No, I think with the amount of scrying that I have going, I want more powerful cards than this. And the second Aquarius form should be the card that I need to make that possible. So now I'm happy to have my opponent gain some life here, and if I untap with the Fortune Hunter, I'm just happy to play my spells on it. Let's see what the follow-up is. Another Cyclops, so one of them was already quite good. The second is certainly not bad. I'm going to start with the Aquarius form here. With the island already in my hand, I knew that I would be able to cast my spells. So one thing that I could do here is Crypsis, the Fortune Hunter, and Savage Surge, the Ill-Tempered Cyclops, to just block. Problem is, if my opponent just plays a 6th land, then I can't really block Ill-Tempered Cyclops very effectively anymore. There isn't much I can do about that, though. I'm just going to get in for damage. Trying to find some good cards here. That's not going to help me against 6/6 guys, so it gets on the bottom. A 3/3. Now, Nesting Cursor is fine. It's a solid card. I think I might want to have that. I cannot just put everything on the bottom that isn't going to work very well. So is there a 6th land? Yes, there is, and I had to expect this. All right, this is very good for me. My opponent wants to get fancy with a Satyr Nick Smith instead of pumping his Ill-Tempered Cyclops. So what do I do here? I want to Savage Search. I also want to Crypsis, and I'm blocking the Nicksmith and the Ill-Tempered Cyclops. Now, what could happen here is that I run into a removal spell in response, but from how my opponent has been playing, I don't think that's going to happen. What I can do here is try to Crypsis the Fortune Hunter first, and then if that resolves, I still have the Savage Search for the Triton. Now let's see if that works. The 2/2 Fortune Hunter with protection from creatures can just block the Nicksmith, which is why I'm playing it in this order. And now I guess that my opponent doesn't have something. I will keep one of the Cyclops tapped and kill the other one. Then I'll have to worry about a 6/6 at some point, but I don't want my opponent to just get crazy with this. Alright, I'm taking 5 here. This is still a very good combat for me. Alright, Nylea's Emissary, that's pretty huge. Gonna bestow this onto my Fortune Hunter to draw an additional card. Which is only a land. So now the question is, do I attack with the Triton, or do I hold this to don't take any damage from the Sun Guide? That does seem better to me. No real reason to deal an additional one here when I'm pretty far ahead with the card advantage that I've already generated. My opponent clearly attacks even if he doesn't have a trick here. It looks like he is just going to monsterify this. Hunter's Prowess, I could put this on the Fortune Hunter for the absolute blowout, but putting it on Wavecrash Triton seems even better. I'm going to draw 4, and I'm going to keep this tap, which is what I want to be doing. I'm also, because this has 4 toughness, there isn't anything that punishes me for playing it like this. Oh, did I misclick? No, I didn't. That was close. And 4 cards should be enough. Alright, so this is going to stay tapped. This is turning into a 4/7 for the turn. I get to scry twice, and then if everything works out and I don't run into Divine Verdict, I'm also going to draw 4 cards. So now I really just want to draw some spells. Agent is solid, I'm going to keep it. I'm hoping that this goes through. If it doesn't, then the agent is definitely not super exciting, but one way to lose this is to just draw lands off the Triton. Monstrosity, okay. This is what I thought my opponent would be doing, so. Okay, I don't have a play. I still think it's correct to leave the agent on top. I'm taking 2 here, which is not a big deal. And an Elite Skirmisher, that's fine. Such Scorpion. Bit late to the party. And let's just keep the Scary Guy tapped. I don't really want to face that one. And then I have to decide if I want to play Nesting Cursor or Sedge Scorpion. Might also want to play around Portent of Betrayal. Portent of Betrayal on this deals 5 unblockable damage, and the 2 creatures my opponent has are another 5. So if I have only the Sedge Scorpion, I might lose to a targeting effect on Elite Skirmisher. I think it's correct to hold back Wavecrash Triton this turn, because I'm pretty much guaranteed to attack for lethal next turn. Although there's one problem with my plan. If my opponent has something to target this at instant speed, then I might not be winning next turn. Yeah, so actually the Fortune Hunter is getting tapped right now. So my decision making is going to be a bit different. Let's see if this is a card that my opponent wants to draw. Protection from blue is not really relevant. Now the card that I want in play is Agent of Horizons, and the thing is, if I have Ravecrash Triton, Triton Fortune Hunter, and Agent of Horizons, I can just attack for 11 to kill my opponent. Doesn't matter if I bring him to 7 or not. If I do bring him to 7 and play the Agent, I am at a small risk to lose to Portent of Betrayal. If my opponent doesn't have the Portent of Betrayal, he does have the Ill-Tempered Cyclops, which will untap, but then I have the Ferris Band Centaurs to block it. Card goes on the bottom, so my opponent not showing strength here. I'm gonna hold the Ravecrash Triton back. I think that's the best line of action I can take here, with still representing lethal if my opponent lets me attack next turn. Or not. Well, I thought I was representing lethal, but of course I forgot the 2 life gain from the Sun Guide. So now I can only attack for 11, which is quite a bit worse, but I'm still happy not to be dead to all kinds of cards, especially the Portent of Betrayal. Pinnacle of Rage took down the Agent, but this should still favor me. I think if I now get to untap and get to play my cards here, then there isn't much that's going to go wrong. Stratus Walk allows me to keep the Cyclops tapped, which is nice. And now I'm able to cast 2 of my spells, 2 of my creatures, so I'm safe from Portent of Betrayal, because I will have blockers for what my opponent is doing. And a single Portent of Betrayal on this guy isn't going to kill me. This I have blockers for, so my opponent would then need a very specific combination of cards. Which is also why I'm not casting Horizon Scholar, but 2 creatures instead. Now I'm just getting in there for 8. Unravel the Ether. Maybe that's what I want. I'll just keep it on top. Some of the best cards that my opponent could play here are Bestow Creatures, but I don't think there were any outs. And I still had 2 nice spells here. Alright, white-red aggro. Well, somewhat aggro. With a bunch of 4-mana 3/3s that turn into 6/6s. Police Crusher and Chrome Conscriptor, I don't think should make an appearance now. They did their job, or Police Crusher did his job, but the price I paid for making my mana that much worse didn't make me feel great about it. And this game, all the targeting effects were really, really sweet. Unravel the Ether didn't really target much. My opponent was looking to be monstrifying and maybe casting some instants. So Unravel the Ether is a card that I could take out, but Fate Foretold, Stymied Hopes on the draw, no. Coastline Chimera. Coastline Chimera, Floatline Serpent. There's some cards that I could see playing just because they are good against the 4-mana 3/3s. The problem is if they turn into 6/6s, then I need something else, and all these cards don't really provide that. Floodtide Serpent, no, it's just not really good. I'm a bit afraid of just losing against a quick draw of the 2/1 haste guy, so I could see myself just playing the Coastline Chimera. It does also block his 3/3s, so I'm going to try to play without Unravel the Ether for 1 game, and I can still bring it in if this goes to a 3rd game. Temple of Deceit again. So the mana is perfect. I do not have a 2-drop, and 2 Crypts is also not amazing by any means. 4th land. Let's see, Agent of Horizons, Boon Satyr, Ferris Band Centaur. Yeah, I kind of want to draw lands here. It is a forest, but I don't have double blue cards, so the only disadvantage is that I'm losing the chance to draw into one of my cheaper cards to play. I think that's... I cannot cannot find a 1 or 2 drop with any reliability though. So now I'm going to try to Agent of Horizons. Then I might be forced to take a bit more damage to get in with the agent, and then just to utilize my Crypsis. Okay, no third land from my opponent. That's a huge deal. So now it's... oh, there it is. I will definitely try to Crypsis rather than trading. Trading also enables my opponent's spells, and, well, that's not what I want to be doing, clearly. Alright, next one, Triton changes things a little bit. I think I might just want to cast the Triton, or maybe even only cast the Band Centaurs next turn without even casting Crypsis. Yeah, I'm actually fine just taking 2 more damage here. My opponent didn't curve out, so I'm under no real pressure. And I'm actually representing quite a lot of cards here for 4 mana that my opponent can't all play around. This isn't a complete blowout or anything, but it's a solid play I'm making here. Like I said, I don't really want to play against a bunch of 3/1 haste creatures, even though Ferris Band Centaurs is a very good blocker. I'm going to want to keep open Crypsis and Boon Satyr at some point, so I'm developing my board instead. The 3/7 here is absolutely huge. Now my opponent should be forced to play into what I'm doing, rather than the other way around. He has a target for Unravel the Ether, which I don't have anymore. So now I can always Crypsis the Ferris Band Centaurs, or I have the Boon Satyr on offense, that both of which is really good. I'm not getting raced by this, I don't think, but I also have no reason to cast Aquarius Form this turn. If my opponent blocks here, I'm blowing him out with the Boon Satyr, so there's no reason to make anything unblockable if I want my opponent to block. Now I have a 7/4 that I can turn unblockable. And I could even cast Aquarius Form on the Ferris Band Centaur, just winning the game. Revoke Existence, targeting Boon Satyr, alright. That's fair. I got my trade out of the deal. Opponent is racing here, maybe because he knows that I can activate this. But it doesn't seem like a very good trade for him. I'm dealing 6 here. Because he attacked me, I'm just gonna be able not to activate the agent. And this, I'm far from dying to a Portent of Betrayal. I'm just gonna run out Deepwater Hypnotist here, and keep open Crypsis just in case. Rage of Perforos, so the agent goes down. Yeah, that's unfortunate. I was planning to win with that. Another Hypnotist is not doing much for me. I can put the Triton on the Centaurs, and if I had one more land... oh, I have the Aquarius Form, so that's just lethal. I thought I needed the Crypsis, but I don't. I could also force a chump block, but if I can kill him, it's clearly the better play. Yep, 5 unblockable damage. Sure. And that's it. Opponent had quite the reactive draw. Don't know if that was his sideboarding or just part of his deck that, well, did that. Hunter's Prowess was absolutely amazing. Really great whenever I drew it. Police Crusher did its job, winning me a tough semifinals. We probably drew above expectation with the red splash and everything, having a mountain whenever we needed it. I like the scrying from Temple of Deceit. You might disagree, and you wouldn't be wrong in saying that Voyaging Satyr would have been really good in this deck as well. But overall, I really liked how this deck played. The Boonsader didn't show up in the early rounds, but once we started drawing it and also had a little bit more luck with finding the double green mana, it really delivered. So that was Simon Says for this week. I'll be back with more limited content. As always, I'm happy to hear what you think. I also have a new microphone. You might have heard that. So let me know how you found the sound. I'm still fiddling with the settings. The microphone is really sensitive, so I have to find the right setup. And my CPU fan is quite loud. I know that. But hopefully you enjoyed this show. See you next time.